Hi guys, Emma here, and today I'm going to be watching another episode of Black Mirror. I'm going to be watching episode 4 called Hang the DJ, and it is apparently about a dating program. I'm guessing that technology maybe messes around with people's choices in this. I mean, I've had a personal experience with a dating app that was weird and bad, I guess, which has put me off sort of getting to know people online a little bit and getting to know people through technology that we have instead of just face to face. Yeah, I joined a dating app. This was in the times, I guess, before the cool apps came out, you know, the cool dating apps that people are perfectly okay with using now. And there was a little bit of stigma, I guess, about using dating apps, but I signed up. You could put your profile on there, you know, so I put one of those like very happy profiles, you know, a profile doesn't really get into who you are. You can only say so much in a few lines. I put a couple of pictures up. My hair has gone through several changes of colour over the years, so I put like a blonde for my profile pic, my main profile pic. Then in my other pics I put like brunette and redhead. And in this dating app people could like message you to your profile inbox. So after I joined I got a couple of messages. One was like this guy called John. He was like, "Hi, I'm John. I'm really like an animal lover and I enjoy long walks in the evenings." And I thought, wow, he sounds really nice. So I left it a couple of days and then I replied and I was like, "Hi John, it's really nice to talk to you and I hope that we can keep on talking and communicating, blah blah blah." And he replied, "You took too long to answer. Plus, you're not even a real blonde. I looked at the pictures in your profile and you're not even a real blonde. How can you justify this, you all women are like you, blah 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 blah." And basically he didn't stop messaging me for like maybe a week and a half until like I just closed down my account. It was just message after message of complete and utter insults. So yeah, that totally put me off. And you know, you don't really know someone until you can have a good long talk with them and be around them and know them. So I don't know what this episode is gonna involve in terms of dating, but let's have a look. Oh, it's always so embarrassing going on one of these blind dates, isn't it? So it's a dating app that knows everything about you.
Yeah.
So they get 12 hours together. What happens after 12 hours? Do they burst into flames? There seems to be so much, you know, in these Black Mirror episodes, there seems to be so much control with technology, like controlling humans, controlling our lives, controlling our choices, which definitely makes me feel uncomfortable. So they get a room for 12 hours to do whatever, and that's it. These two seem to be getting on really well. Seem to have the same sense of humour. Oh wow, so it's the entire country that have to do this. This is awful. This is like an arranged marriage sort of thing.
This is weird.
Some people like arranged marriages and some people don't like them at all. They're gonna see each other, aren't they? Oh, this is so awkward.
Started already?
I was hungry.
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. It's the little things, isn't it? Just little things about the way you speak, interact with people.
Yeah.
It can put you right off, can't it?
1 year.
Oh no.
We've got each other for 1 year. You're the sort of person that makes jokes.
Well, I don't understand if they have to go through these relationships. I guess it's to harden them and make them realise that the one they ultimately end up with is the right person, but it's such a nightmare having to go through that. Just kind of discounts human emotions, doesn't it? Saying that you have to have a relationship for this length of time. I guess if you wanted a physical relationship and this was the only way that you were allowed to in society, then you would go with it, but well, he's definitely not going to have a good year, is he? What if you don't like the person then? You get stuck with them for like a year. Can you just say, well, I can't stand this, because it could lead to some pretty terrible... Yeah, and what about random flirting? I mean, you're not allowed to do that? After 9 months, I don't think I want another relationship if I wasn't happy with the last one. Heartbreaking if you couldn't find the right one.
That's sooner than I expected.
I don't know why you'd be so chirpy about it.
Okay then.
It's interesting that maybe that if you don't know how much time you have with a person, you seize the opportunity more. I wonder what happens if you reveal your expiry date. and you don't tap at the same time, maybe there's some punishment for that. Don't risk it.
Recalibrating.
Oh no. You shouldn't have done it. That's like such a terrible punishment just for wanting to know if you can stay with someone. Well, you know, now he's lying to her, so maybe they aren't a perfect match. I just don't know. So now he can't even enjoy the rest of their time together because he feels guilty. So they're in some kind of compound? Oh my goodness, the guy with a taser. Because you want to be with someone. Man, I could not do that. I could not be part of that. Can you imagine if you didn't like someone? It would just be so bad. So I get the feeling that the system is deliberately making them be apart so that they can realise what they mean to each other. She doesn't really think she's in a simulation, does she? That would be kind of a weird twist.
Let's go.
Maybe they're in some real world simulation, that like pre-marriage test or something?
Let's go.
I don't know. It's creeping me out a bit. And it doesn't seem real anymore. Everybody's gone silent and quiet and everybody's staring. Definitely seems like a complete virtual world. Oh my goodness! It's so high. The computer world doesn't exist. They are a simulation. Okay guys, just finished the episode. I feel really emotional now because that was kind of sad and happy at the same time. Happy because obviously these two were meant to be together, star-crossed lover sort of thing, but it came at the price of the simulations who really existed. I guess it was a simulation, except it wasn't really a simulation because these people in the simulation seemed to have real characters, and they didn't have a memory, I guess, but they had a character, they had a personality that was existing in the moment, in the now, and what they went through, they were living, they were experiencing, they were feeling. So they were virtual copies of the real life people, but they still existed in a sense. It makes you think about like the properties of technology and the properties of a computer. I was reading an article this morning saying, are robots becoming racists because they are making choices based on reading people's data and determining the probable outcome of like lending money to people, and apparently the statistics were like indicating that there was a racial divide in economic status. So they were trying, the article was trying to suggest that computers had their own mind, but really they were just reading data. But can computers read the data of our souls? You know what I mean? Like, can they really know how we feel deep down in our hearts? Can that pairing with this special someone really be predicted? Can it really be predicted even if it's run on a simulation like 1,000 times with a virtual copy of your character? We don't know. At the end of that episode, it does look as though the computer program that is running these simulations has made the right choice, and it's able to correctly predict who your true love is. But we don't know that really. I mean, it just is. A relationship is made up of so many components, I guess. We saw in the relationships they had with other people how little things could annoy them, like sighing or picking their ears. There are so many factors in getting to know someone and being around someone, and the computer was claiming to have read them all, but human beings are so complicated that it's hard to believe that the computer could be right, you know? It's hard to believe. I mean, I don't know what the level of the simulation was. Where was the computer getting the data from? Was it just getting it from social media profiles? Because, let's be honest, we all are a little fake online, I guess. We present a different persona, I think, online. A lot of us do anyway. I just think maybe what the computer program is reading may not be accurate. I personally think that any dating app cannot replace the face-to-face experiences that you have. At the end of the day, if you were looking for the one, let's say, and you had the opportunity to have other relationships, I mean, you don't enter into relationships thinking, yeah, I want to be with this person for the rest of my life necessarily. And I don't think that if you have the opportunity to spend a short amount of time with someone, then that's a bad thing. But in this virtual world that they were living in, they had to spend so long with certain people that that becomes unpleasant. But in reality, if you had the option of spending time with someone, I don't think that's a particularly bad thing before you settle down with the one, you know. I don't know, I think that personal choice plays a big part. Maybe a computer can suggest someone, but certainly they can't force you to be with someone. The ending of that episode seemed to suggest they were in a free world, and that the program wasn't compulsory, in fact, like the simulation. And if that was the case, I think that the option of being paired up with someone, even if you are paired up with someone, the option to say, well, no, actually my choice overrides the computer's choice, that has to be there. I think that choice needs to be there. It was a really interesting episode. I did not really think that they were in a simulation. Even when it was suggested for the first time, I did not really believe that until she started realizing that the stone was skipping 4 times exactly. And that in itself, I guess, is a little bit of a question as to if things are so rigid within that virtual world, can the simulation really be correct in its assumptions that these two are meant to be together? Can the program really predict whether these two are meant to be together if everything is so rigid and that virtual world so controlled? From my personal choice, I don't think that I would trust an app to introduce me to the right people anymore after my experiences as related at the beginning of this video. However, I do think that you can have fun with apps and dating programs, and I just think that human beings are so much more complicated than that, complex. That was the last episode of this season that I have watched, and I've watched all the rest now, so I'm not going to be doing any more reactions or reviews, but I really liked this season as a whole. I think that the quality again was as good as the last season. I really recommend, if you haven't watched like the previous seasons, to go back and watch them. I still think my favourite episode is like San Junipero. That episode really left its mark on me. I think one of the bleakest episodes in this season is definitely Metalhead. Exhilarating in a bad way. Let me know what you think about the episode and about, you know, dating programs like that, and whether you would trust them, whether you think that they could work for you. Thank you for watching today. You can follow me on Twitter at @thevloglady. I also have a Facebook page. See you soon. Bye.